Let's take 5 and think of Santa Claus. The practitioners who are acting as Santa and Mrs. Santa and the elves put themselves into a moment when it's very important to the children to believe in them, even though there are some are a bit cynical. I mean, the children. So they have to care about children and show real happiness when the children come up from their point in the line and tell Santa what they would like to have for Christmas and how they would like to be at Christmas. And Santa gives them some reinforcement. Now, these actors, they can't run a script. There may be a few basic things that they say and many things that they don't want to say, but they have to be spontaneous in order to be believable. So that each child, they learn their first name, and then they engage in a 20-second interaction or conversation, making hopefully a conversation as opposed to the child sitting there and crying or being mute and not wanting to say a word. But in those moments, each moment, that Santa is creating a story for that child that, well, they could tell 50 years from now. Do you remember the first time you were at a place where there was a Santa and now it was your turn to get up on his lap? And do you remember that time? I do somewhat, and most of us do. And it's been over 75 years since I sat on Santa's lap. But those actors had to reach to us and make us part of the myth and the story and the hopefulness that goes along with this season. So finally, in my take 5, I think of the Santa who is at my little country church right now for a visit with Santa and Mrs. Santa. And I'm sure that there's a long line there. There was when I drove by earlier of children who want to see Santa in that church context, even though it's not necessarily the religious part of church. It is a place where people believe. And so what a nice place for my friend George to be Santa in his annual Santa Claus role. So let's take 5. Let's give a salute to all those performers out there who are making lives a little happier at this time of year.
A while ago, I wrote a book with Stephen Cavallari called Inside Knowledge. In 2025, we still think it resonates. So we've realized a second edition, this time with a new prologue and released exclusively as an ebook. Inside Knowledge follows Dana Gilbert and her time working at the Grand Bay Company and uses her story to highlight the various real-life skills, methods, and characteristics of practitioners at the front lines of organizational life. As conditions change, so must Dana. As you read, you may find you've changed alongside her. Escape into a good story and learn to improve at the same time. Get your copy today, only at mylibrary.world/inside knowledge. Now I'll let you in on a little secret. You can actually get this book at a discount for a limited time. Visit anactionresearch.info and find a special coupon code that you can use at checkout for this ebook. Thanks for listening and considering Inside Knowledge as your next read.